Chapter 1. The Hollow Moon. The moon had turned to bone. Across the dead expanse of the black veil, it hung low and swollen, its light a sickly white that did not warm the earth. The wind hissed through the hollow spires of fallen ritual temples, carrying the scent of iron, ash, and something older, something that remembered teeth and screaming. Beneath that ghostly sky moved a pitch-black shadow, vast and slow, breathing steam into the night. Jronothrax stirred from the ruins of a forgotten citadel. Once this place held some sort importance, but now nothing. The air trembled as his lungs drew their first full breath in a century. Chains still clung to his limbs, relics of the elite hunter priests of old, their silver long tarnished, their enchantments, once hellish eldritch screams that stung his enhanced senses now faded to bearable whispers. His natural adaptation has adapted to eldritch magics. With one pull, he shattered them, and the echo ran down the mountains like thunder, crumbling the remaining ruins. He rose to his full height, half man and half nightmare, his body a tapestry of old wounds and newer scars now rapidly fading, with his adaptation reaching new levels as it boosts his regeneration. His fur was the color of black storm clouds, his claws glinting faintly with the sheen of cursed metal. In his eyes burned two coals of unnatural hunger. They remembered the night his kind was betrayed, when the magisters of Ardent became hungry for more power and control over what refuses to be chained, to be leashed. The Moonbane, his people, his family, his pack dead. Now only one remained, Jronothrax, the last Moonbane. He prowled the vale, each step shaking the frost from the grass. Once, these mountains had sung with wolves. Now, the silence only filled by ambient hum of mana, felt like a mockery. He could still smell the scent of men, faint, arrogant, armored. Hunters, again, always hunters. But this time, the world had grown weaker, more complacent, and he had grown more intelligent, more cunning, and most of all, vengeful. Far below, nestled among twisted giant oaks, flickered the lights of a settlement, a cluster of wooden halls ringed by crude machines that sputtered blue flame. The humans called it Vath Hollow, built upon the bones of the temple that once imprisoned him. How sweetly their ignorance reeked. He crouched upon a large rock, his claws easily digging furrows into the hardened stone like mere mud under his unreal strength. His acute hearing caught the steady hum of the settlement's defenses, rune cannons whining with restrained power, enchanted crossbows cocked, steel hearts thudding in nervous rhythm. They did not yet know the moon had turned its face toward them. For a moment, the beast closed his eyes. Memories, broken, seared, flickered like embers. He saw a face, pale, trembling, whispering his name as she died in his arms. Not prey, not enemy, something he had once sworn to protect, a human female. She was so kind to him, innocent and naive. The memory was a blade, twisting deep into the remainder of heart. The hunger answered. His spine cracked as he leaned forward, the sound breaking the silence of the forest, muscles rippling under coarse fur. The air itself seemed to recoil from him. Then, with a sound like thunder swallowed by the sea, Jronothrax leapt from the cliff. He fell through the night like a meteor of flesh and hate. When he landed among the outer walls of Vath Hollow, the ground exploded into a small pit, shards of stone and embers scattering about. Screams followed, as those standing near the walls stumbled and fell. Alarms howled. The moonlight caught his shape, too large, too wrong, as men poured from their barracks with swords drawn and hearts full of foolishly pointless courage. The first to reach him swung a blade etched in holy runes. It met Jronothrax's arm with a flash of silver fire, then with a shatter it snapped like brittle glass. The werewolf's answering strike tore through armor and bone alike. Blood sprayed across the cobbles, his insides now become outsides, and they lay steaming in the chill air. The scent drove him into frenzy. He moved through the defenders like a storm of claws and sinew. Steel rang, flesh split, torches died. When a heavy rune cannon fired, its bolt tore into his chest, a wound that should have ended him. Instead, It only enraged the beast further. He jumped and crushed the cannon under Paul's and the men who manned it, crushed beneath his weight, his roar echoing off the hollow moon like a curse that made the eyes and ears of those too close bleed. By the time the church bell began to toll, the outer defenses were gone. The streets burned with oil and blood. The survivors fled toward the citadel at the town's heart, dragging the wounded and praying to arrogant gods that no longer listened. Jronothrax stood amidst the ruin, silent, steaming. For the first time in an age, he felt alive, and utterly furious. He raised his head toward the moon, its pale face now half shrouded in smoke, and growled, a sound so vast and primal that even the machines shook from the vibrations. It was the sound of extinction, of hunger unending. And somewhere beyond the mountains, something old and listening answered. End of chapter 1.